Hello everybody, it's Julie Davison. Thanks so much for joining me today. I've got a fun card to share with you featuring the Country Home stamp set from the holiday catalog. I feel like with all the snow coming down in central Illinois that we're beyond fall. You know, I went to Orlando for the on-stage conference with Stampin Up, and it was gorgeous weather down there, of course, and I came back here to central Illinois and everything is gray. Like, it's all, fall is over and it's snowing, so it's definitely not fall anymore. But I love this Country Lane stamp set, and so I wanted to design one more card with it. And this is actually for my October bonus card kit. So for my customers who place a $40 order in my online store before tax and shipping, they get a little project kit at the end of the month. And so I still need to send out the kits for everybody who ordered in October, and they get 3 different projects, and I was trying to get this done before I left and I just ran out of time. So this is the 3rd of the projects that my my customers will get for the October kit. So I just wanted to share some tips and show you the project. So as you jump on, if you're tuning in on Facebook, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know you can see me okay. Hi Jenny, hi Trudy. Leave your favorite emoji. You can tell me what you're doing tonight, just so I know you're out there. I'm going to go ahead and jump in though and show you. So this is the Country Home stamp set, and I had to borrow this from Bonnie McGrew, who lives down the street. So thank you, Bonnie, for letting me borrow your stamp set. I wanted to use the chicken wire, and so I was really having a hard time trying to figure out what to do with it, but I found this project here in the holiday catalog, and I really loved the layout of it. So my card is kind of inspired by that in its basic design, although I did do a few things differently. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I incorporated the tin tile embossing folder where they just use the designer paper, and then I have just 1 row of the chicken wire in the background there, and then of course the colors are a little bit different. And instead of using the circle underneath the picture, I decided to kind of put it in the corner. So I'm gonna make this card tonight and show you all the little tips on what I did. For those who get my project kits either from ordering, or if you're a team member and you subscribe to get my kits, this is what it looks like. So everything I send comes pre-cut and pre-punched and ready to go. Excuse me, a little tickle in my throat tonight. Packaged up in our cello bag. So Stampin' Up sells these 6 by 8, the large cello bags. And so it fits all the project materials really nicely. I wanted to show you really quick, this is what I used for the greeting. And I just took a piece of cardstock that is 1 1/4 inch by 4 inches, and then I just put the tip of it here inside the everyday label punch, and just fed it through from the back side and punched the end of it to get the decorative edge. So that is how I use that with the everyday label punch. Pardon me a second, I'm just going to get some water. Okay, that's embarrassing. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp the flowers in the picture, and I'm using our Stampin Blends to color these in. So we have 2 different kinds of black ink pads in the Stampin' Up catalog. There's the Memento Tuxedo Black ink pad. Hi Bonnie, this is what I did with your stamp set today. Oh my goodness, I have not coughed all day and suddenly I've got something in my throat. The Tuxedo Black ink pad is for the Stampin' Blends, and then the Stays On ink pad is for watercoloring. That's a waterproof ink pad. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry for all the coughing. All right, so we're going to stamp the picture and the flowers using the Memento ink pad. And you can stamp either one first. I don't think it matters. I stamped them both ways today when I was playing with it. So I'm going to stamp the picture. And then the flowers are designed to fit perfectly on here, and you can kind of see like the little curve right there, and that sort of fits over the mouth of the picture. So I'm just gonna line that up. I love the photopolymer stamps. Makes it so easy to line these images up. And then we're going to use the Stampin' Blends to color them. So I'm really excited, you know, and honestly, I didn't even notice in the holiday catalog we have new Stampin' Blend colors, and I just thought that they were Stampin' Blend colors from the annual catalog that were just pictured in the holiday catalog, but these are brand new colors. I think there's 8 total in the holiday catalog that are not pictured in the annual catalog at all. So the new colors in here are Blackberry Bliss and Cajun Craze, and I actually don't have those. So the colors that I'm using are from the annual catalog. I chose Rich Raspberry, even though I'm using the Blackberry card base. The Rich Raspberry is dark enough when you use the dark one and blend them a lot that I thought it looked okay. And then I've got Crumb Cake, which I've used for the picture and the cattails, and then the Old Olive for the other parts. So there are a couple different ways to use the Stampin' Blends, and I have to be honest, I don't use them a whole lot. I'm going to sit down to color. Hopefully you can still hear okay. You can either start with the light color or the dark color, and so I'm going to show you both ways, even though I don't know that it matters so much. So for the picture, I'm going to start with the dark color, and I'm just kind of using the stamped image as a guide to show me where these these darker parts are. So I'm going to start with the darker on the edges, and then I'm going to take the lighter color and kind of blend that color in. And you can see how it, you can still see the dark and it blends in. I'm just gonna add some more, layering the light over there. Okay, so that's the crumb cake. And then up here, I'll just start with the light since I already have it out. And then I'm gonna add the shading with the dark. So with the blends, you just kind of play around and see. The Stampin' Blends have 2 ends. There's a brush tip and then a fatter tip. What is this called? I don't know if it gives me, I'm looking to see. I know this is a brush tip and I don't know the nub. And I'm just gonna, again, use it as a guide to see where to color the darker part in. And you can go back over it with the lighter color again to just blend them together. For the, they look like leaves to me. In the catalog, the sample down here uses the purple color, and so I just sort of use that as a guide. You know, I have a black thumb when it comes to when it comes to all things flowers and gardening. What am I going to start with? I'll start with the lighter color this time and kind of go over the entire, I don't know, are these leaves or flowers? I don't really know. Like I said, I'm using the catalog as a guide. Since they did them purple, I'm going to do them purple. When in doubt, case the catalog. So this is the Rich Raspberry Light Marker. Now all the Stampin' Blend markers, which of course are alcohol markers, you can get them individually. So there's a light marker and a dark marker, or you can get them as a duo. So the Rich Raspberry Duo, there's no price break on getting them together. It's just the convenience of being able to order with one item number instead of ordering 2. So I'm just kind of going on the lines and adding some of the dark. And then I'm going to go back over it again with the light marker, and this is again just sort of layering and blending the 2 colors together so that it's not such a harsh line. I know that there's a better art to this. I kind of suck. I really don't use the Stampin' Blends a whole lot, I have to be honest, but I love the way it looks, the smooth color, And I know that with practice I will get better. I'm gonna add some dark along the lines, and then color in the leaves. And color some more. Blend that a little bit. Some more leaves. I'm sitting below my phone at this point, so I can't see any comments. I really apologize. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them after the video. I will be sure to get on and comment and answer any questions that you have. So please feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think. All right, so there is the colored image, not too shabby. This stamp set is a standalone stamp set, which means that it does not have any coordinating dies. So if you want to cut out this image, you have to fussy cut it. Do you like to fussy cut? I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I certainly don't enjoy it as much as I know other people do. Some people just will sit and fussy cut in front of the TV and are just happy to cut out these intricate kinds of images, and I'm happy to do one or two, but it's not something that I would choose to do a lot of. The paper snip scissors that I'm using are from Stampin' Up, and they are awesome. I love how sharp they are, and they are just perfect for cutting out images like this. And you notice sometimes instead of moving the scissors, I'm moving the paper instead, and this kind of helps to get a smoother cut around all the creases. And you can see I'm not cutting out like each individual leaf. I'm just cutting a white border around the entire image. Okay, so there is my picture of flowers, and I showed you the little tip for getting the end on this. I used the Everyday Label Punch, and I just slid it through the back side to punch that out. So the next tip I want to show you is the sentiment. So the stamp says, "Simply thankful for all the good things." And that's a little bit tight on my banner, so I just want it to say "Simply Thankful." And so you can do that in two different ways. One way is to use the Stampin' Right markers to color directly on the stamp. However, I find that technique is sometimes difficult on the photopolymer because the ink will pool up instead of being evenly covered as it is with the ink pad. So what I'm going to do instead is to use just a little bit of Scotch tape to cover up the stamp that I don't want to show on the finished card. So I'm going to cover up that last row, and I'm making sure to push the tape so that I can get that entire letter that comes down, the F. Okay, so I've got my tape covering the stamp, and then I'm going to ink up the stamp, and I'm kind of inking up toward the bottom, so I'm not getting most of that covered, but you can see how the ink is on the tape instead of on the stamp. So before I stamp, this is important. If you try to stamp right now, you're going to get that line on there on the tape, but you want to take the tape off, and you can see all the ink that I didn't want is on the tape, and then you can turn it around, and sometimes I like to just refreshen that ink before I stamp and then just go straight down. Simply Thankful. So I got just the part I wanted and not the part that I didn't want. This is the Blackberry Bliss ink pad, by the way. This is one of the new core colors. It used to be an in color and it came back, and I just love it. It's so rich and regal. So Rich Raspberry and Blackberry Bliss are the two purples in the Regals collection, and I think Blackberry Bliss is definitely my favorite of the two. All right, let's talk about the chicken wire a little bit. The chicken wire comes in a large piece, twice this size, so I cut this in half. I'm including half in the project packet, but really you only need like one row of it. So I'm going to just cut off, I'm just gonna cut off part of this. And then if you are using, so this part, this is already done, so I don't have to trim it anymore. But if you are starting with a piece that's broken like this, it's really easy. You can just cut off those little pieces to round out the ends of the chicken wire. So instead of having the broken pieces, you can just cut all those little pieces off so that you keep the rounded edge. So unless you like the look of the broken wire, in that case, you could have it however you want. It's your project. Make it your way. Okay, so that's the chicken wire. It's back in stock. One side is silver and then the other side is white. So you could use that white side if you wanted to, but I'm going to use the silver side, and we're going to just attach these with some snail adhesive. So I'm going to put the Whisper White banner over the old olive, and then on the bottom of the old olive I'm going to attach the chicken wire, and I'm just going to cut this extra piece off. We don't need all of that. Okay, on the card base, this is just a regular size card, 8.5 by 5.5, and it's time to layer everything. The stamped flowers are going to go on with Stampin' Dimensionals, and I like to make sure that there's good coverage, so I'm going to use 4 of those. And then originally I was trying to play around with the circle. This is the 2 1/4 inch circle punch. It's my favorite punch. I use it probably more than any other punch, but it just wasn't big enough, and I'm a lazy stamper. I'm going to say it. I didn't want to break out my circle framelits, so instead of putting the flowers on the circle, I decided to just kind of use it to highlight the image in the back like that. It makes the circle look bigger without actually having to get out the circle framelits in the big shot. On this piece, it's 1.5 inch by 4 1/4 inches, Blackberry Bliss. So on the card, you can see it's really kind of subtle, but it adds that little texture in the background. And any excuse to use the tin tile embossing folder, I'm all for that, because this folder is just amazing. And it's one of the dynamic texture impression folders. So it has just so many layers. Like you can see, it's dynamic. And both sides I think are really, you could use either one. There's not like a right side and a wrong side, so it just shows the depth in different ways. Some things are raised and some things are up. So you can choose which side you want to be up on your card. I think I'm going to do it the opposite way on this card. So I'm going to start by putting the snail adhesive on the back of these pieces. And we're going to layer these down first. So I've got this kind of in the bottom left corner of my card, and I'm just building up from there. I'm going to tuck this back here, and then I'm just going to eyeball placement. That looks good. Okay, and then I'm going to put snail adhesive on the back of this. If you find that snail adhesive, I'm using a lot, if you find that it's not strong enough to hold your textured embossed pieces, then you may choose to use tear and tape as a stronger adhesive that will hold your card together with no problems at all. So I'm going to put this down on the card. I'm leaving about 1/4 inch between the edge of the embossed cardstock and the card edge. I'm just going to really make sure that that's pushed down really well, and then I will finish off the card with the picture of flowers to go right over the edge. So there is the finished card, and I don't know how well you can see. Let me get a close-up of the different textures. So this one is like face up and this one is face down, so the texture looks very similar but just a little bit different. This looks like it is hanging over just a smidge. There, that's better. In the kit, I am including a piece of white cardstock to go on the inside. I haven't actually, I haven't done anything on mine. I should do that. You caught me. I have a naked card on the inside. But there's the finished card, and if you're tuning in late, here is the card that inspired me right from the catalog. So this is the holiday catalog on page 42, and it's not quite the same, but I was inspired by the layout and did something similar with that. So I hope that you're inspired by this project and that you enjoyed all my tips today. Make sure to share the video if you liked it, leave a comment below, and if you'd like to earn the November project kit, you can place an order in my online store at juliedavison.com/shop. You want to order $40 or more before tax and shipping to qualify for that freebie. And if you ordered in October, I am mailing your kit out tomorrow, so watch for that in the mail this week. Hope you guys are having a good night, and I'll catch you later. Bye!